Tonight on Mental Health Matters with Marty, live, Facebook Live, we want to celebrate for Black history the superheroes of the pandemic. Stay tuned.
Enjoy your life, be free, live life, enjoy your life, have some fun, enjoy your life, be free.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome again to the Mental Health Matters with Marty show, and it is the first day of Black History Month. My name is Martina Sellers, and I am your mental health hygienist here on the West Coast, where the sun still is shining in the midst of the rain. We got some more rain, y'all. I'm just grateful. So, hey, I don't have to deal with that snow. I can see the snow on the mountains, and I'm cool with that. Listen, I'm so excited, y'all, about this series we're going to be introducing. Yes, that's right, Paula. We are going to be celebrating the superheroes of the pandemic. Yes, celebration, y'all. I love superheroes. I do superhero therapy, which is a form of narrative therapy. Listen, while you are out here, listen, we grow through you sharing this podcast and this episode with others. Put people in the chat that we need to have in here. Definitely, yes. Hey, Alana, how you doing? Let's celebrate the superheroes. Darling, your book came. I'm so excited. I loved it. Love it. Read it to my 5-year-old daughter. That's Alana Moore, y'all. You need to look at her book. She's a growing and upcoming therapist here in Southern California. She wrote this amazing book called ADHD is My Superpower. Everyone, you need to own that book. It is absolutely fabulous, but so excited. Now, as a reminder, this show, again, is simply an educational tool. This is not a replacement. Let me say that again. This is not a replacement for therapy. This is a supplement to therapy. This is a supplement to your life coach. But if you're experiencing any type of medical emergencies, such as a psychiatric breakdown or anything, listen, go to 911, get some help. But as always, listen, we want you to join us tonight. Again, we are so excited. Yes, Alana, you are definitely most welcome. Yes, safe space with Shay. Come on, safe space. Yes. We have 16 inches of snow. Oh, can you send us some of the California? Listen, Paula, I don't know how y'all do it on that East Coast out there in Connecticut. Thomas, what's up? Come on, good people. Good to see you. Let us know where you're listening from. Get people out there. Get people, type some names in the chat who need to join us tonight. But we are so excited. Again, as we deal with Black History Month, I want to make it clear, listen, Black history is American history. We are a part of the DNA of this country. Whether we like it or not, whether you like it or not, we are a part of the DNA. We're not going anywhere. No one's going anywhere. This is supposed to be the great melting pot, and that's where we are at. We're in this great melting pot. Come on, Detroit. Detroit is up in the house. That's right, the snowy DMV. Yes. Detroit, listen, I grew up in Ohio, and I think y'all sent all the rejects from Detroit to Ohio, and we had to deal with all that. But I'm glad to be out that snow. Listen, I think today the high was 65, and I sure enough loved it. But listen, we are celebrating all of this greatness that we have. When we talk about Black history, there is a richness in that we cannot deny. And I'm so glad to be a part of this. And I'm so glad with these brothers who are joining me in this today. I'm all ready to hear from the superheroes. I know that's right, Justin. I'm ready to hear from the superheroes as well. And the beauty about superheroes is this. They have a unique superpower. And that superpower is used to give and pour back into our communities, whether it's in our Black community, whether it's in our Latino communities, whether it's in our Afro-Latino communities, wherever that might be, in our Jewish communities. Listen, the superhero is designed, and the power of that is to give back. Now, mind you, we all have our weaknesses. I have my weaknesses. You have your weaknesses, but your weakness does not define who you are, but your super strength does. Australia, come on, Australia. We are international. I know that's right. Come on now. I love it. Cousin, what's good? Cool cousin. God bless you and all that you listen. Columbus, Ohio, and snowing. Black history makers and shakers. Yes, Pastor Kelsey, that's my twin, y'all. That's out there in Ohio. But I am so glad. I'm not going to talk y'all to death. I want to bring in my guests with us and everything. Let me go in order of people who have not been on. I'm so excited to have this young man, this amazing man who I read his book about a little over a year ago. And that book changed my life. And I just love it and use it in my practice. And I definitely want to start something with him. And we need to start a webinar on this book. He is an amazing author in the mental health field, not only as a life coach, but he's an author, a speaker. He's on there. Listen, he got a blue label and a blue check on his Instagram page. I'm just trying to get a check, but he got a blue check. Not everybody can get a blue check. That means you got to be doing something right about that. He's the author of this amazing book called Surthrival. Yes, you heard it right. Surthrival. That is not only about survival, but it's about surviving and thriving. So he calls this Surthrival. Let's welcome to the Mental Health Matters with Marty show for the very first time, but definitely not the last time. He is in Brooklyn. God bless him right now, but none other than Mr. Purvis Taylor. Yes.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for that introduction. I'm truly grateful to be on here with you. Thank you so much for your kind words, and I'm honored to even share the stage with you and the other brothers who are going to be joining us.
Man, I'm so glad to have you on this show. You know, we've kind of been going back and forth via text message and all these other things. And I'm just honored that you would be on the show with me and all this, because we've been saying we got to get together. Horace, what's going on? And I'm so glad that you are on here. Listen, before we get started,
yes,
tell the audience who you are. And then we're going to also get a little bit into your book a little bit later, but introduction of your book. But Purvis, who are you and what's the great work that you do in our communities?
Oh my gosh. Good evening, everybody. My name is Purvis Taylor III. I am an award-winning celebrity life coach, speaker, author of the book Survival Mode that he talked about. I'm also a guest lecturer. I'm co-founder of Alchemic Solutions. It's a program that's based here in New York City that teaches young men of color how to develop emotional intelligence. And we've had a 99% success rate. So I've been doing this work for 10 years, mental health advocacy, especially in Black men, as well as coaching for 10 years. So I really love what I do, and I love helping people to get on that maximized journey.
Yes, that's amazing, man. Especially when we're talking about Black men. And I'm gonna have to talk to the other person. Alexis, hey, how are you? Good to see you out there. When you're talking about Black men, because we don't like necessarily therapy.
Right.
And when we're talking about that, because let's be honest, the medical profession has not been the kindest to us in that regard. What is your passion with working with Black men, and why is it so important that we do this work, especially with Black men today?
Well, 10 years ago, I kind of foresaw that we'd be at an impasse. In terms of our mental health. And I thought about my life, and the things that I battled, and dealing with molestation, low self-esteem, all those things, suicide ideation. And I had this thought, and I said I couldn't be the only person.
Right.
And so what I did was I said I wanted to become somebody who I didn't have.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a part of healing. I wanted to create, they created Frankenstein. I wanted to create my own version, but it being a whole Black man.
Right.
So I love that. I wanted to heal my younger self. And helping to heal other men.
Yeah, that's amazing. That is, and I'm going to put a pin in that, because I want to definitely talk some more about emotional intelligence among Black men. That is such an important factor. What we're talking about. Yes, I see people say I'm excited about the theme, bro. That's right. I'm excited too. Alexis, awesome. We love that, especially and you deal with all men from all walks of life. And one of the areas we don't talk a lot about is the Black men, the LGBTQ community in that, and the different traumas that they suffer. We have to get past our whether it's hetero or homophobia and all that, because when we look at it, we are just dealing with people as a whole in that and everything. So yeah, man, I want to again welcome to the show. I'm excited about this conversation we're going to be having. So my second guest that we're going to bring onto the stage too, he's got. Listen, I'm trying to grow up and be like this brother too. All these brothers, I love and admire them because they challenge, and what I love that there's no jealousy, but there's iron sharpening iron, and we work together and share whatever tools. That's why I love these Black men here today with this. Say yes, Marty, I love this. Thank you. Thank you.
I like Alexis. Alexis,
Yeah, Alexis is my homegirl. Listen, she is so good.
That's
She's
what's
doing
up.
a great work in Los Angeles County. And Alexis, I need to bring you on our show too. She does a great work in Los Angeles County, and one of the major social workers in LA County. You know, like when we're dealing in New York, LA, there's a lot of trauma that goes on.
Yes.
And she is one of the advocates and does great, great, great work with the LGBTQ community in LA County, and everything as well. But I want to bring, he is a professor, an HR coordinator, HR director, entrepreneur, all that. Listen, he got more degrees than August in Las Vegas, and I'm so glad to have it. But, you know, I can joke around with him. But let's bring back to the Mental Health Matters with Marty show none other than Dr. Sam Sanders. Dr. Sam,
Hello, Marty. What's
how
going on,
are
my
you?
friend?
I'm doing well, my friend. How are you?
I'm extremely well.
Yes, and we didn't talk about that you're a musician, that you're a writer, all these other things. You handle finances and multi-million-dollar budgets, and you help strategic plan for corporations with that. So, Dr. Sam, tell us again to remind the people what you do, your passion, and why is it important that we're giving back the way that we are doing? I know, a loaded question.
Okay. First of all, I count it an honor and a privilege to be here with you and your guests tonight. I have some dynamic men here on this panel this evening. I have a PhD in business administration with a specialization in healthcare administration and organizational leadership. Currently, I am head of academics at a university in Atlanta, Hotlanta. Woo-hoo. In my previous life, I was vice president of human resources for one of the Fortune 500 companies. And in about 2 months, I'm transitioning back into corporate as the global chief strategy and human resources officer for a venture capital company. My passion is mentoring others. As you stated earlier, I help businesses grow,
Yes.
develop their business plans, but I love
Yes.
mentoring other business entrepreneurs and other business executives. So I teach them how to be competitive in the market, especially our minorities, men and women.
Yeah, yeah. Listen, y'all, you're getting some amazing stuff that you would normally pay $500, $600, $700 a session for. I called this consulting agent, y'all, and they want to charge me listen, I'm telling y'all the truth, $40,000 for a 6-month period of time. I'm like, listen, we all need to be in the consulting business.
Exactly.
Listen, we all can retire, but it's time that we change the mindset of our people. Saying, listen, we have great consultants, we have great life coaches. Everything we need is really right here in our community, and we don't have to look out. We got to start learning to support one another and stop trying to get the homie hookup and give these brothers and sisters what they want, and they rate and respect them for that. Yeah, we have to. We have to.
Absolutely.
Listen, I would say the crackhead, they don't negotiate. They get what they need. Come
on,
on. We got to quit negotiating and get what we need.
they don't negotiate with Tony Robbins when he charged 10,000.
Come tell the truth.
They listen. So yeah,
Tell the truth. You're right. You're
whole
right.
session on his own.
Yeah,
like,
I know. We're gonna
Yeah.
get there. I know folks are like, you charge what for therapy? I said, listen, your weed money, you don't challenge them when they say, you know how much
Yep.
your shake at the shake spot, y'all ain't going for the wings
You
either.
get what you pay for.
Listen,
I'm sorry, we real on this show, y'all.
right.
We try to keep it. And then our final guest tonight, none other. Listen, he been with me all day. I had him, Purvis. I had him training my staff earlier today remotely, doing CBT training and doing some other stuff. And I believe in recycling our dollars. And when you have great people, don't worry. I'm going. If I can find a grant and write you in on it, I'm going to try and do what I can with it. Come on. But we're so glad to have him a part. He's not a stranger to the Mental Health Matters with Marty show. He's also an author of an amazing book that's designed for Black men called Messages We Carry. That's right. And he also has a podcast. He's about helping you rewrite the messages and the message you carry. Because so many of us have negative messages that we're carrying from those who are supposed to pour positively in us. But we have those repeating in our minds and everything. So let's bring for all the way from the Dallas area. Come on, none other than Danny Ross. Come on, yeah. Danny.
What's up?
Danny, you've been with me all day, brother. I appreciate you.
All day. It's a great thing, though. It's a great
Yes. So we're representing really all sides of the country here. We got in the East Coast where y'all getting blasted by the snow. We got down there in Hotlanta. We still praying for y'all down there because y'all a mess. And we got Dallas in the house and California. Listen, that's how we roll. Yes. Listen, let's start off the show with this whole thing about, we've experienced 2020. 2020 was not an easy year for folks who look like us.
Yeah.
It was not. Now that we can kind of breathe, I don't know about you, y'all. When the inauguration came, I felt lighter. Not that anything changed, but the air felt lighter. It felt like a burden had lifted. And I don't know what you experienced. I'm gonna throw it out to you, Purvis, first. But how do we get through and press through what we experienced in 2020, especially as Black men and as people, men and women of color, that we change that narrative? What do you tell your people?
Well, I always say this, like the beautiful thing about being a human being is that we can be both and, right?
Yes.
And so that we can have multiple experiences within ourselves at the same time.
Right.
Emotionally. And so the thing that I share is that while we honor the fact that we've been, marginalized and disenfranchised and
Right.
and abused, right? We also have life happening from us. Right. And so we have to honor that space as well. And so my thing is, don't get caught up in the victimization, get caught up in the empowerment.
Ooh, that's good.
Because I think that's so important, because I think if we just focus on the abuse, we forget about the way that we've shifted culture, about the things that we've created, about the life that can happen for us, about the legacy that we'll leave.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So like my thing is honor that when it shows up, but also honor the fact that life is happening from you. Life happens to us, but life also happens from us. And so like I think I never want us to be left in a state of feeling victimized, but I always want us to feel empowered, being cognizant of what has happened, but also being more grounded in the fact that life is happening from us.
That's good. I love that empowerment statement that you made there, that life is happening, although it's happening to us, life also happens from us. But by putting you now in the position of taking control.
Yes.
And not being a victim of it any longer. Yes, yes, that they are coming after us. It feels like, not feels. It is
true. No, it's true.
Go ahead. I feel good.
No. I'm saying no. It is happening. I'm not saying don't deny it.
Right.
That is a real thing. But also, what else is a real thing is that life is happening from you. Think about the position we hold in this country back in the 60s, back when we came in as enslaved people.
Yeah.
The life that happened from us, right? This country wouldn't exist if it wasn't
right.
This country would have no entertainment industry. They would have nothing if it wasn't for us, right? So we have to always be mindful of that. The things that we create are just as powerful as the oppression that we Yes. I want to tag team with you on that one, Danny, because your book talks about, and I love it, Purvis talks about the survival mode and method and moving from not just what is happening to us, but what's happening from us from a point of empowerment. And that's definitely changing the narrative of what and changing the message that we carry. How do you answer that same question about how do we navigate through 2020?
I think one of the things that I've noticed just as I've looked at everything, I've been doing a lot of work in this vulnerability area. And one of the things I noticed that when we encounter a crisis or something is brought to our attention, it connects to our vulnerabilities when it touches a particular part of us. And I think when we witnessed the George Floyd incident, I think that brought so much to a head for us. And it made us recognize our own vulnerability to things of the past. There's a connection and pain with our people. And no matter how far we get away from it, we're connected to our people and the experiences. And when I saw George Floyd's, his neck being suppressed by an officer, I connected with that because
Yes.
George Floyd. George Floyd looks just like me.
Yes.
I'm very educated, but to the world, I can appear as just another person. And
Right.
so I think we have to acknowledge our narratives. You're exactly right. And we have to acknowledge like some of the things that can trigger us.
Right.
And so much of that is connected to race and like I said, just the vulnerabilities of knowing like I look like everyone else, and I hope to be a human being, but I'm also a Black African American male, and I think we have to feel successful as just being a Black male and knowing who we are, that we are empowered, that we are good people,
Right.
before we allow someone else to tear us down and to tell us who we are. And so much of my work is making sure that we challenge the narratives, we challenge the stories, we challenge
Yes.
the messages, because there are so many people looking to
Yes.
tell us about who we are, what we are, where we've been, what we're going to become. And so this
Yes.
is another instance to where you need to know who you are before
Yes.
someone else tries to dictate who we become. But when I saw that particular image,
Right.
it reduced me to that we are brothers. We are just alike. His
Come on.
pain is my pain is his pain. And I could easily fall into the category of being another George Floyd. And it's just something that resonated with me. And I don't often visit that place, but that's one of those points to where I felt my Blackness.
Yeah.
I don't generally just think about race all the time. I felt my Blackness when I saw him. I connected with him in in that knee being on his neck. And it said something to me as I am not even deserving of being stood up. Not even being handcuffed, stood up and handcuffed, but put on the ground with another man's knee in their neck.
Yeah.
And so I was talking to someone earlier about racism and how it's just connected, and it's so embedded in our very fabric, but we don't often like to recognize it. And until we have these conversations and really fully engage and recognize who we are as individuals, some of the stuff that we've inherited from our family systems, from our great mama and great granddaddy, all of those people. And it doesn't even have to be the dominant culture we're talking about. It's some of the stuff that we have to recognize that we've started to own as an individual. And that's why I really try to empower people to know who you are, what made you who you are. Challenge some of the stories that you've been given, because everything that has been said to you is not accurate.
Right. That's so true.
That's right.
Right. With that, and Dr. Sam, especially as we're now, you've dealt with corporate America, and what corporate America looks like, and a lot of times what we struggle with, even in our own, and how we then want to model, or maybe not even model, or even discount ourselves. How does someone who is maybe had a job loss or that type of thing manage through 2020 with hope into 2021 of not putting themselves down or looking less on themselves? And how do you help combat that on your end as being in corporate America, and even being a coach in corporate America with that?
The first thing I would say is don't panic.
Yes.
Don't panic. Yes, we went through a lot in 2020, but look at 2021 as an opportunity to hit the reset button.
Yes.
You get to start over again. No, we can't erase what happened, what we experienced in 2020, but we can learn from that experience and not look at ourselves as always the victim. But one thing about 2020, we had an opportunity to learn about ourselves, our self-worth. And we also learned how to come together for a common cause, especially we as minorities. We didn't have to know your name. We didn't have to know where you live.
Right.
You look like me. George Floyd looks like me. So I can relate. So we started relating our lives to someone we had never met before. And we learned how to come together. But I would tell those who are now at this point, don't give up, don't give in, but press toward the mark of the prize of the higher calling, as we say.
Come on and preach to us.
And realize that this is an opportunity to learn from our experiences from 2020, better ourselves. And during this time of the pandemic, we have an opportunity now to learn new skills. And while we're learning new skills, we can reinvent ourselves, become more marketable, create the opportunity, create our narrative. And don't sit there. And my mom used to always say, don't sit there and say, well, what you can't do. Say what you can do and do it. Don't just talk about it, be about it.
Yes. I love what Angela even, she says, listen, panic is not an option. I love that. She says, our worth has propelled us into our purpose. Preach, Dr. Sam. I know that's right. Jill, what propels us? And I love this theme of superheroes. What propels you, even though you may not have the cape on? You guys are superheroes, not just to our communities, but to each other. I look to you guys as being superheroes, even in my own life. With that, what propels you to do the work that you do and have the passion, even when doors might get slammed in your face, even when you might be at threat of being pulled over, and fearful that a knee might be put in your own neck. Even when we saw the young high school student being slammed on the ground. I've been there at 2, 3, 4 in the morning. What you doing in this neighborhood? You know, with that. Yeah. Perfect. What propels you to still do this great work that you do?
You know, it's bigger than me, right? You know, you read Rick Warren's book, Purpose Driven Life.
Purpose Driven Life. It's not about you.
It's not about you. It's not about you.
Yeah.
And I'm from Texas, so I know racism.
Right.
Like,
right.
Born and raised. I do this because I don't want another man to go through what I've been through.
Right.
I want people to live their most maximized life. And so for me, that's what drives me and that's what propels me. Like, I feel like this is what God, like, I know God created me to do this work.
Right.
And I take that with great, I take it with humility, but I also have a gratitude for it, right? That he chose me to do this work. And so, like, I do this because I know this is why God created me. And I don't want people to hurt. I know what hurt feels like. I know what not loving yourself feels like. So I don't want another human being to feel that way. So that's what drives me to do the work that I do.
Yeah. Even when you know that you may not get the pay you deserve. When you definitely, or the money's not going to come through like you know it is. And many of us in our fields, come on, how many of us have given out of our own pockets and right, bought stuff and bought the materials and giving people a pass that, come on, baby, I know the registration is $100, but you got $20. Give me $5.
Right.
I found a grant for you. Just come on in. Come sneak in the back door after it starts or something.
Right.
With that, yeah.
Because it's bigger. It's not about me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And what propels me is having been told that I wasn't good enough, having to work harder than my clear brothers in the corporate room, realizing that I'm the only person of color at the VP level in the room, and I have the most education. I have to have the most education, the most experience, the most certifications, whereas you got Mr. Joe Blow sitting right next to me, barely got out of high school, but yet here he is, a senior VP. So I realized that I don't want others to have to go through what I went through. So I know that I'm called to be that sponge that has already absorbed a lot of information.
Yes.
And I want others to just get the overflow and be all that they can be. I don't want my brothers and my sisters, and it's not just based on colors, but those who are, the struggle is real. I want them to not have to go through what I went through, but learn from what I've gone through so that you don't have to experience that. Learn how to avoid some of the things, because a lot of times the panelists that we have on this panel right now, many of us didn't have the mentors. We didn't. I grew up in a single parent home. It was just my mother, and I'm the oldest of 4. And if it weren't for my uncles, I don't know where I would be. I'd probably be dead somewhere. But I didn't have a business mentor, someone to look like me, someone to push me on and tell me, yeah, you can get this degree, you can get that degree and end up with 6 degrees later. But I want to be that person to pour into others so that they can. I want them to be better than I am. And I
Right.
want them
Thank
to not
you.
have to go through. I always want them to be better than me because I'm that dude that, because I'm head of academics, I'm that dude that when my students walk across the stage, and most of them are graduate students, MBA students,
Right.
I'm cheering up because I
Yeah.
know their story. I
Mm-hmm.
know their struggles and I can feel their pain. So I'm crying, they're crying, I'm hugging them, embracing them, and conferring their degrees. And I'm realized that you made it. You made it. You know, and
Yeah.
that excites me. That
Yeah.
recharges me.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with you. Danny, go
So,
ahead.
you know, one
Yeah.
of the things my passion is hope. A lot of times growing up in Mississippi, I didn't have a lot of hope. What
Yeah.
I saw is what I got. And what I
Mm.
saw was, limitations. What I saw
Mm-hmm.
was prejudice. What I saw was just a place that had very few opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to give hope to Black men. I want to let them know that they don't always have to be strong. They don't always have to have it together.
Wow.
When I hear the stories in my office, when I hear Black men truly open up and they let me know that they don't know like basic types of things, you
Mhm.
present outwardly one way, but realistically, you're a scared little boy.
Mm-hmm.
And what I get an opportunity to do is work with the little boy so he can become the adult that he needs to become. So instead of him always being in that place of child to parent, he's going to
Yes.
be adult to adult. He's going to be
Yes.
whole. He's going to be capable. And he's going to
Yes.
recognize that it's not weak to go to counseling. It's not
Yes.
weak to say that I don't know how to do something. It's not weak to say, baby, I'm sorry. It's
Mhm.
not weak to say that, I need some help in building this particular thing. So
Mhm.
my passion is changing the narrative for men. And I say that from different angles. I want to work with that young man who doesn't see any hope. And I happen to work in the school system as well. And I get some of the work, the more difficult and challenging.
Right.
But one of the things that I find so imperative is giving those kids a connection, a sense of hope,
Yes.
a sense of being, a sense of I see you when nobody else sees you, when nobody else
Yes.
wants you. I can see
Yes.
the best in you. I have students who call me now, and it's almost like accountability. And I'm just like, you don't have to call me 5 years later. But it says something to me
It
because
does.
I know that they feel I am their accountability dad or something.
And also too because you tapped into that vulnerable space within them,
Yes.
an intimate space within them.
Yes.
And
Yes.
you were transparent.
Yes,
Yeah.
When there's transparency, you can build trust.
Yeah.
exactly.
I know that I know your struggles, and that you are helping me. Okay, you're more credible to me now.
Yes.
Mhm.
Because
Exactly.
we met them right where they're at. I love what Dr. A just said here. It says, thank you on behalf of every little boy whom you empower with your strength to result in hope. Dr. A. Dr. A, I love that. I love that. Yes, accountability. And we have to think that, accountability, what is it doing? Accountability is this. Not only am I holding you accountable, but I do it with passion and love because I want you to be responsible in
And
that
not
as
from
well.
condemnation, not from a
Yes.
condemnation aspect, but more so
Yes.
from a loving, right?
Exactly.
Exactly. And oftentimes we think that accountability is, well, you keep holding me accountable and you hold my feet to the fire. No, I'm holding you accountable. Why? Because I love it. I'm protecting you.
Right.
And
Yeah.
when I flip the script on that, accountability really is protection. Come on.
Yeah.
When I now say I'm holding you accountable because I'm protecting you, what does that say? I'm holding you accountable because I love you. I'm holding you accountable because I see the success in you. I'm holding you accountable because I want you to be emotionally healthy. I want you to be better than where I am. I want you to go farther than where I go in that. Go, Purpose. I see you. I see you. Go ahead. Go
No.
ahead.
I'm listening. I'm listening. No, I love what you're saying. Like, I think it's, accountability also lends to like responsibility, right?
Yes.
Still empowering, right? So it's all about the empowerment. Like, I'm holding you accountable because I want you to stay empowered.
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes. Yeah, I love this. She says, Dr. A says this, accountability says, I believe in you. Ooh.
Yeah.
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 And I want you to maintain that. Yeah.
Yes. Isn't that? Go ahead, Danny.
No, I had a fifth grade teacher that really held me up. And I don't know, I told him probably about 20 years later as to how he held me up. He called me by my last name. It almost was like an expectation that I see greatness in you.
Right.
I expect you to follow the rules when everybody
Right.
else is not going to follow the rules. And I'm just
Right.
like, oh, me. All these other people he could have chosen, but he saw something in me. He would come back from the office and recognize like all the kids were acting up and tearing the room up, but he would skip me as to say, who did this in the room? I know Ross didn't do it. And sometimes I wanted to act up just to throw him off. But he called me to a place of accountability and purpose. And those are the type things that hold me now when I want to give up on students and some clients and some people, is knowing that somebody saw purpose and accountability in me. They wanted to be held accountable for me doing better and being something to society versus what I could have been. Because I really could have been something different based on my upbringing.
You're absolutely right.
I tell those with whom I mentor, what is your dash?
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yes.
You're born here, you'll die here. What will they say about you?
Exactly.
What's your dash? And what impact have you made on society? What have you done to give back to bring someone along like someone may or may not have brought you along?
Exactly.
So accountability is important. You know, it makes me feel good and warm when I have students from 5, 6, 7 years ago say, Dr. Sam, I built this $1 million business because of what I learned in your class.
Business.
You know, and I'm thinking, where's my cut? No, just kidding.
No, I agree with you. To your point, like the young man in our program in Alchemic Solutions, like one young man, he just got engaged. He just proposed to his girlfriend. He wanted me to be on the Zoom, and I ain't spoke to him in I don't know how long. He was like, "You helped me to become emotionally intelligent, to understand, to use my emotional lexicon when I'm dealing with my fiance.
Yeah,
I know how to construct my thoughts together now because of that program. So it's like." You think you do it for those reasons. Man at 22 is better than I was at 22.
Exactly.
And
isn't that a joy?
That's the joy.
Absolutely.
Let's
we become proud parents.
That's right. Let's talk about this emotional intelligence with that. Said you better preach, Dr. Sanders. Dash. Listen, get you the acronym for that. That dash.
I like that.
Yes. Talk to us about this emotional intelligence. Why is it important that we, and I'm going to go here first, since we're all black men on here, why is it important for we as black men to be emotionally intelligent, and what does it mean, and why is it important for us? And Danny, I know you know about emotional intelligence. I'm going to throw that over to you as well.
I think really for black men, I think the importance of us having emotional intelligence is because many of us don't have the emotional language or the emotional lexicon, right? To convey what it is that we're experiencing. And I think for many of us, we harness anger because that's easy to carry, right? Not understanding that underneath it is hurt, and underneath the hurt is disappointment, and underneath that, it's the expectation that hasn't been met, right? And so like emotional intelligence teaches you to process, to sit down, to take the pause, to trace the pathology of this emotion. Why are you feeling this? What is the emotion that you're feeling? And Danny can speak to this. Emotions are experienced in various degrees and intensities. If you are enraged versus you being mad, that's different. Enraged is a level 10, mad is maybe a level 2, right? Right. So if you're emotionally intelligent, you would know how to be able to talk yourself down so you don't get to level 10. That is the benefit of emotional intelligence. And also, too, that helps you to understand the emotions that you're experiencing and process them in such a way that feels a positive result with empathy and also in others. So it teaches you how to manage self and also manage relationships. Yeah. And that's so important. So many men fail in relationships, in their intimate relationships, because they're not emotionally intelligent. They don't even know what it is they're experiencing. And I help them to develop language. And I think that's so important.
That is so, because we as black men, you know, a lot of times we don't get the opportunity to develop that. So it's yes for the breaking down on emotional intelligence, help us regulate. Yeah, but it's so important because we are not, we're told a lot of times to shut up. We're told to man up. I'm still trying to figure what that means. We're told to suck it up, but
Yes.
you don't cry. You're not supposed to show any emotion. So the only thing we know a lot of times is happy and not even sad, but frustration and anger.
Right.
And why is it better for we to be as black men? It's almost like we're given a pass. Like, oh, he's an angry black man. That's what they all are.
And then you know what it is. And then if you take it from a socialization construct, right? So
Yes.
you have hegemonic masculinity, right? Then they form toxic masculinity, which
Right.
which it only appeals to black and Latinos. It doesn't appeal
Yes.
to white people, even though that they exhibit the same attributes of what we call toxic masculinity, because there a lot of white men are not emotionally intelligent either. Like
Right,
that's the thing across the board. But I think, I think for us as African Americans, I think we have to be on the offense.
Yeah.
Especially men, especially, I'm sure Doctor can speak to this, being in corporate spaces. He has to be extremely emotionally intelligent, because him being impassioned could easily be mistaken for him being angry. You know what I mean? And so he has to be able to, and you know what I mean? Like, I don't work in corporate space, so I can do whatever I want to do. But I'm just saying, like, you guys exhibit emotional intelligence in a way that I possibly don't have to, because you have to know how to be able to read the room. You have to know how to redirect. You have to know how to do all those things on the drop of a dime. And I think those are transferable skills that you can apply in relationships. Emotional intelligence is the only intelligence that can be increased.
Yeah, I want to hit before we go there. Let me hit Carlinda. No, you're fine, because this speaks to what you were talking about, Purvis. Well, Carlinda, she says this: as a forensics psychologist, I work with lots of brothers, and I am amazed at the fact that I, as a white woman, at y'all's resilience. I have a 22-year-old son who is black, and I see the struggle is real. That is so true. With that, it is real. Says Jill, I'm going to call Tyler Perry, tell him the brothers are preaching on the Martina show tonight. It says entertainment help us define why. Also help us find why we, men and women, act or behave the way we do, and better manage our actions. Yes, that's right. We have to, because that's what we're talking about. How do we manage these emotions with that? Danny, you were going to continue on that, on the emotional intelligence. Go right ahead.
Well, I was thinking about, I'm going to be a bit vulnerable here, and I work in a predominantly white school district. I've worked there for about 12 years. And one of the things that I've had...
Purvis is actually what school district, Danny?
I try not to mention them. Yeah, but it's Keller ISD. Keller ISD.
It's like, ooh.
I just gave it all to you, so. But no,
black people there.
Exactly. I work in Keller ISD. And one of the things that I've encountered, I've always had to be aware of. I'm a big black man, and I have to be mindful of how I come across. I have had to really work at recognizing my emotions, recognizing that I can come across a certain way to a different demographic, or it can be perceived differently. And so the sad part, I was just talking to a few of my colleagues and just being open. We're finally getting to this place to where we're truly talking about the truth and how we feel in that district. And I said for years, I have edited. I would say in the last 2 years, I've decided, like, I'm no longer editing. I'm going to be Danny. There's nothing wrong with me. But because of what we have witnessed and dealt with, we constantly have had to kind of, I progressed in my career quite well, and I'm very thankful for that. And I asked myself questions. Would I have still been editing had I not progressed in my career the way that I have in the past? But right now I'm at a place of confidence. I know who I am. I know what I have to offer. And if me being passionate about what it is that I offer comes across wrong, I can't do anything about that when I'm doing the same thing that Richard is doing.
Right.
My other part to that is talking about a lot of times as people, or I'll just say men in general, we do like to deal with we like to deal with anger and frustration, but generally underneath that is the secondary emotion. I'm sad, I'm hurt,
Yes.
I'm shamed,
Mm-hmm.
I feel flawed. And so
Yes.
instead of me verbalizing that, what I want to do is act it out. And so one of the things that I work with my clients on is building an emotional language and
Good.
understanding that most every emotion has a progression to it. But if
Yes.
you never understand those progressions, you're free for all. And, oh, that's just how he acts when he gets this and that. And so we excuse poor behavior. And
Mm-hmm.
so what I try to do from early on, even with my little boys, is teach proper language so that they can know that I'm feeling disappointed
Right.
and being
Right.
able to share disappointment versus I'm just going to be mad and shut down. You know, those are the things that you carry into your relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I try to make sure that we understand. If we don't manage those things now, they turn into those type behaviors as adults.
I love emotional intelligence, and I wish we teach it more, especially when it comes to because it was developed on the East Coast out of Yale, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, but they don't have any of us at the table, though.
No, you're right. You're right. And what they do when they bring it into the school systems, I know that some of the charter schools, more importantly, are using it, and they're definitely doing the emotional. We're definitely dealing with the color. So if we teach them, I'm feeling blue right now because I'm sad, with it, or I'm feeling red because I'm angry and in red. Go ahead, Sam.
One of the things that we have to do a better job at is teaching, especially our young black boys, it is
Yes.
how to what understand what is emotional intelligence, because in
Yes.
academia I teach about Hofstede's cultural dimensions,
Mm-hmm.
and we've so long been taught that certain things are for ladies and certain things are for the guy.
Right.
Oh, that's good.
Right.
and
Right.
and it's femininity versus masculinity. And one of the things that we were taught as little boys don't cry.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so
Mm-hmm.
we have to teach our young people, especially the boys, that it's okay to cry. It's
Right.
okay to cry. How do you express yourself without being vulnerable and weak in front of the wrong crowd?
Yeah.
Because what emotional intelligence will give you is it gives permission to express yourself in your relationship, corporate wise. It also shows that it lacks how we need to teach them how emotional intelligence can teach them how to express themselves. Because when I walk into a room looking the way I look, and everybody else in the room is clear,
Mm-hmm.
they automatically think that and especially when we're talking about budgets,
Mm-hmm.
that this black man is about to come up in here and show his tail.
Right.
Because, and I come across as being not passionate, but emotional. But I'm the first one to teach them what passion and emotion is. Others
Right.
don't.
That's good.
And I'll start throwing some academic stuff on them, and then they sit there looking like we just best to be quiet. But it's okay to teach our young people, especially our young boys, black boys, how to express themselves. Because if they don't, they're going to internalize it. You guys
That's
are the
it.
therapists. I'm not a therapist, but I can tell you this: when you internalize it, you will act out. And because of what? We got higher crime rate. Why? Because I didn't feel comfortable expressing myself. I didn't know where to go.
Right.
I didn't know to whom could I do this with.
Right.
Go ahead,
And
Purvis.
you also get a custom of suppression, right?
Exactly.
Culture. As black men, we have a culture of suppressing our emotions. And the thing is, what we don't understand is that if we don't transmute that emotion, we transmit it, then we transact with it.
Absolutely.
Come on and teach us.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So, like, that's the importance of dealing with our emotions. That's the importance of going to see someone like Danny, who's a therapist, because
Yes.
therapy, one of the biggest benefits of therapy is it teaches you how to construct thought. A lot of black men don't know how to, I don't want to say a lot. There are a segment of black men who do not know how to explain themselves.
Yes.
They really don't know how to do it. They know they're feeling something. They know that they want to say something, but they don't have the language or the lexicon to express
Exactly.
it. And so one of the biggest benefits of going to a Martinez or to a Danny, or even me in my program, is it teaches you how to articulate yourself.
Exactly.
Because your healing is in your words.
Yes.
Mm.
And it slows us down so that we get to sit in that emotion and not continue to do the negative. What I like to say when my book finally come out, I'm trying to be like these brothers, Sam. Stop the stinking thinking. That we
Yeah.
can sit in that and sit in that emotion and make a healthy and wiser choice in
Yes.
that, and then go back and reevaluate what we did so that the next time this happens, not only am I going to be aware of it, but I will know how to make a healthier choice because I'm not going to act out of my emotions, but out of my intelligence.
Out of my intelligence. And no emotion is bad. And I think that's the one
Right,
you got to explain to people. No
right.
emotion you feel is bad. It's your reaction to it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Right.
And
And we've got
no
to
emotion is bad.
Can
we've
I?
got to teach how to be transformational so that we can become transactional.
Ooh,
That part.
ooh, y'all dropping some heavy knowledge
Can I
tonight.
just say
Go
this
ahead.
part
Go
again?
ahead,
This
Daddy.
part again, Purvis. I gotta get that phrase. The healing is in the words. That did something to me as you said that, because I so believe that when I'm in the office and the words come forth and they go out into the atmosphere and I see the tears, I see stuff that has been suppressed and packed down for years. I see
Ooh,
transformation. And when you said that, I was like, oh my gosh, that is exactly
right,
what happens. So I
right.
appreciate you saying that. That was
Yes.
great.
Absolutely.
Yes. My cousin Tamara Brooks got this long dialogue on here, but it's good. It's good. Come on,
Okay.
cousin. So some young men fear crying or sadness because their parents, this is true, beat them down mentally on not being weak, or words like punk, or she uses a P word, or I don't know if we can say that on
Those there.
Facebook. Yeah. But sometimes a single parent mother can be too hard on their son because she's trying to play both roles. Not all households, but it happens, and young men don't know how to handle emotions. You're absolutely right with that,
Yeah.
and that becomes a common challenge. I tell mom, listen, you're the mom. You ain't got to be the mom and dad.
That part.
Be that, and then if that's the case, help them find mentors. I always say the Coca-Cola syndrome, if you will. So you're told, shut up, sit down, don't be a punk. Don't be, all that. So now you're shaking, and then the slightest thing that
Explode.
happens, you explode. But here's the thing: you don't explode just on others; you explode on yourself
Right.
first.
Implode.
You act out.
We implode
Come on,
before we explode. We
that's
implode
it.
before we explode.
Yeah. So the imploding happens to you, and then so the exploding is just the result of that. So you do. I didn't go in the military, y'all. I knew I wasn't cut out for the military. I had to take my butt to school. so that friendly fire, if you will, but friendly fire is equally as damaging and deadly. So we kill part of ourselves while we're hurting other people as well. We listen. Okay, we got to do a part 2 or something, y'all. Y'all dropping some knowledge on here us tonight with that as well. Purvis, you have this amazing book. Y'all have to go on Amazon, or my brother here. He has this book. I promise y'all, changed my life. Talk about your book, The Survival Mode. That book is powerful.
Oh, thank you so much. And he did message me. He was like,
I did.
"Oh my God." He was like, in capitals. Oh my God. So this book, this book I wrote as a dedication to myself and men who I've helped walk through processes. And
Right.
it's about my struggle dealing with molestation, being bullied, and in the lives of men who I've helped walk through a process, and the commonality that we had to get to the place of thriving.
Right.
And so I came up with the 4 A's of survival mode, the things that you need to thrive in life, to take you from surviving to thriving. And the 4 A's are acknowledgement, acceptance, articulation, and alchemy. And alchemy being transforming the thing into something that serves you, right? So how did I
Yes.
transform all the pain, all the negative experiences that I've been through to now I master it, it no longer masters me. And so the book takes a deep dive into the emotional lives of Black men, and women who've read the book. They've been like, oh my God, I had to apologize to my husband, had to apologize to my son, because you literally helped me to understand my significant other or son or brother in a way that I didn't understand before. So it takes a really deep dive, and it's very brief. You see, it's very short.
Yeah, hold the cover up again so we can see it again. That's right. Y'all got to get this that book, the survival mode, and he talks about the not just surviving but thriving
Because
as
that's our birthright, is to thrive.
yes.
Not just to survive, it's to thrive.
Ooh, listen, I promise I could not put the book down. I read it. I was walking on. I was on a vacation, and I had a whole day just to kind of to myself. I could not. I was going to the restaurant reading it. I had it outside. It was. I couldn't. It blew me away, man. I love it. It was amazing. It's still my go-to. I need to reread it because I need to remind myself of those 4 A's. So you were speaking to me, man, and thank you for your vulnerability in that. How do we get that book? How can we get it?
Amazon.
Okay, there we go. How can we purchase it? Amazon.
She said 4 A's. Hallelujah.
That's right. That's right.
Amazon.com. Yes.
Yes. Can you type that in the private, and then what we'll do, or in there if you can get in there, because
Yes,
I want everybody to get it. What's the name of Surthrival, Auntie? Surthrival. See, that's why you got to put it there, because my auntie will mess it up, and I love her. Is there an audio version of the book?
No, because it's so brief.
Coming in 2021.
Coming in
The
2021 audio.
That's right. Coming the audio.
I have a
Yes.
trouble. Mine is brief, but I'm getting an audio coming soon.
Get that audio.
Comments. I'm putting
Okay, beautiful. And then how can people get a hold of you, and how can we follow you?
I'm Purvis Taylor, at Purvis Taylor across all platforms, on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and yeah, just DM me.
Yeah.
Send me a message.
And y'all, Instagram, I told y'all, he got the blue check. So he the real deal. Blue check, baby. That's right. Survival.
I mean, it's 10 years of hard work. That's
yes.
how I check. 10 years of doing this work when no one thought it was popular to work with Black men. So
right.
It's hard work.
Yes. And again, tonight, this was about saluting all of you. So, Purvis, I salute you. I honor you tonight for your amazing work, and I'm just honored that you would take the time to be on my show and share. And this is not going to be I can't wait till this is up, because I'll be like, oh, look, I'm in the area. Where you at? Take you out to dinner as my appreciation for this amazing book, man.
I was upset with him. I was like, yo, you got everybody on the show. You ain't asked me on the show. I'm looking at you. I'm like, I thought my book was amazing. Like, oh.
He did. He's like, you ain't gonna have me on your show? So you just talking. I love it.
Closed mouth doesn't get fed.
Right. Holding me accountable. Right. With
right.
that. That's right, man. I love it. I love it. Dr. Sam says, well done to you all. Thank you for your life's work with our Black men. That's right. That's right. How to, I'm ordering it now. Thank you, Auntie. Appreciate you. Dr. Sam, how do we get a hold of you? And thank you.
You can find me on LinkedIn under Sam Sanders, PhD, and all those other letters behind it. The one in Atlanta. You can even hit me up on Facebook. I have 2 Facebook pages with Sam Sanders, and one is Dr. Sam Sanders.
Wonderful. Sam, again, we salute you for all the work that you do and how you give back tirelessly to our community. You guys truly are the superheroes, and I wanted to honor you all during this month, and this is just the beginning, and this has been absolutely amazing. Danny, who's been with me all day today, training my staff, being my personal therapist today, all of that as well. I love it. Carlinda says she's ordering several copies. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm trying to order Danny's book. Danny, your book is on Amazon?
It's on Amazon, The Messages We Carry.
All right, I'm ordering it right now.
There we go.
The Messages We Carry. Yes. It's a workbook for Black men, and it deals with personal identity, race, male archetypes, brotherhood, rules and codes, power and control, male friendships, hidden emotions, and romantic relationships. All of that in a nutshell, and we do it in a workbook form.
Yes. And Danny, you have also started this last week. You launched what?
A podcast. Never thought in years I would have done that, but I actually like it and I see the value of it. And
yes,
I listen to podcasts on my way to work all the time.
Awesome.
Yes.
So I love it. Absolutely thrilling. You can reach me at themessages.net. Everything related to the messages, you can just go there. You'll see all my product, you can just go to themessages.net.
Yes, love that. Love
Danny,
that
I
we
just ordered.
come
Yay!
on, come on, come
I
on.
gotta get mine.
Support Black
That's right.
folks.
That's what we do. We support each
Support Black
other.
folks.
You guys have written some amazing books. Since I'm getting that for my clients, come on messages. That's right.
Yeah.
We have to learn how to support each other.
That's right.
In this, and we are great authors. Listen, y'all. I'm here to tell you, you're going to be blessed by both of these. In this, how do I listen to the podcast? Good question. How do we listen to your podcast, Danny?
You can. Pretty soon it'll be on my website, but you can go to Apple, go to the podcast,
Yep.
go to Spotify, all places that have podcasts, and just go to the messages we carry, and just look for my name or the title of the podcast, the messages we carry, or Danny L. Ross.
That's right. That's right. Amazing podcast. Again, Danny, we salute you as well.
Thank you.
You all are superheroes, and I love and appreciate each and one of you brothers for the work that you do, the tireless work that you do in our communities to help us rise above what others might think about us. Why? Because who you say we are is not what they call you, is what you respond to. Come on, is what you respond
That's
to.
right.
That is that. So again, thank you guys so much. As always, we want to thank you for joining us here on Mental Health Matters with Marty on our weekly show. Join us next week. This is just part one, y'all. We got the whole month. This is just the warm up, and it's going to get, as they say in the old church, gooder and gooder each week as we come along here. So we salute our superheroes tonight. Purvis Taylor with the survival mode. We salute Dr. Sam Sanders in his corporations and mentoring us and coaching us. And we salute Danny Ross with the messages we carry. I invite you to follow me. Again, my name is Martina Sellers, and check my website with mentalhealthmarty.com, where you will find merchandise on there to support you in your mental health journey as well. And then also, please listen to my podcast. And again, my podcast is Mental Health Matters with Marty. You can subscribe to your favorite podcast streaming source. For those of you who are Apple listeners, I encourage you, please give us a 5-star rating and a review. And become an iMatter member by texting iMatter to 855-717-1272. Again, 855-717-1272, where you will get all of the latest information and get a head start on what's happening with us as well. Listen, we are so glad. Again, we've heard such a powerful message tonight. And I'm going to reiterate the words that Purvis had reminded us tonight, that healing is in the words. So tonight we encourage you to heal. Yes, this is the first day of Black History Month, but not the last day. Black history is American history. As I always say, we don't want you to continue to suffer in silence in the shadow of shame, but speak up, speak out, and live. As always, remember to enjoy your life. Until next time.
Enjoy your life.